What if human teleportation was real tomorrow? Imagine this. 1 second you're here, the next you're gone. Just a whisper of atoms, only to reappear instantly across the globe. No jets, no long journeys, just arrival. But what if this arrival means the you that left is gone forever, replaced by a perfect copy? What if the price for zipping across the world in a blink is your very self? This isn't just a sci-fi trope anymore. It's a question that's knocking, pretty chillingly, at the door of what could be. Section 1. The dawn of instant travel. So let's picture it. Tomorrow morning you wake up and the headlines are screaming, "Teleportation is here. The world's changed forever." Suddenly, stepping into a sleek, ordinary-looking machine means you can dematerialize and then rematerialize anywhere on Earth in the blink of an eye. That Star Trek dream of popping over to another continent? It's not a dream anymore. Think about it. Breakfast in Paris, a business meeting in Tokyo, and you're still back home for dinner with your family all in a single day, and you're not even tired from traveling. How does it work, this miracle tech we're imagining? Well, it scans your entire body, every atom, every tiny quantum detail, and beams this massive data package to a receiving station. This station then uses raw materials to rebuild you, atom by atom, an exact copy based on the blueprint sent. The original you? Well, the tricky part is that the scanning process, as the theory goes, is destructive. To get that perfect snapshot, the original you is, well, taken apart, gone. At first, the sheer excitement would be off the charts. Borders? They'd feel more like suggestions than actual barriers. Loved ones living oceans apart could see each other in moments. Emergency medical teams could reach anyone, anywhere on the planet, when every second counts. Scientists could team up in person, no matter where they are, speeding up discoveries. The incredible convenience, the way our huge world would suddenly feel so small, would be mind-blowing. Imagine planning a weekend trip not just to the next county, but to a whole different hemisphere, easier than a run to the grocery store. And the energy savings, grounding all those planes and taking millions of cars off the road could be huge, maybe even a lifeline for a planet struggling with our current ways of getting around. This is the promise, the amazing appeal of real teleportation. A living, breathing person, sent like a message and remade, instantly, on the other side of the world. Section 2. A world transformed. If teleportation became an everyday thing, it would flip our world upside down, practically overnight. The entire transportation industry as we know it, poof, gone. Airlines, shipping companies, car makers, all those roads, railways, and airports, they'd all be facing a massive crisis. The global economy would take a huge hit, then scramble to find its new shape. Industries built on distance would vanish, while new ones would pop up around teleportation tech. Think maintenance, data wrangling, and supplying all that raw material for reconstruction. And what about how we plan our cities? They could spread out. If your commute is instant, you could live out in the middle of nowhere and still work in a busy city, seeing your colleagues in person every day. That old saying, location, location, location for houses and businesses, it would mean something completely different. Property values would go on a wild ride, no longer tied to how close you are to city centers or travel links. International trade would be totally different too. We could teleport goods, not just people, cutting out shipping times and costs. This could create a truly global market where stuff gets distributed almost instantly wherever it's needed. But that brings its own headaches. How would customs work? How could we stop illegal goods, or even weapons, from being zapped across borders like it's nothing? Security would become an absolute nightmare. If physical barriers don't mean anything, how do you protect secure buildings, banks, or even just your own home? Being able to appear anywhere could give criminals and terrorists terrifying new advantages. Governments would be scrambling to control this tech, leading to huge arguments about freedom versus safety. Would we have no teleport zones? Would you need a license to teleport? The impact on the environment could be fantastic, at first anyway. Less traditional travel means way fewer carbon emissions. Huge areas of land used for airports and highways could be given back to nature or used for farming. But then you have to ask, what about the energy needed for teleportation itself? Dematerializing and rematerializing people and things on a global scale would probably use absolutely enormous amounts of power. And where does all that raw material for reconstruction come from, and what's its environmental price tag? These are the immediate, practical shockwaves we'd feel. Section 3. The chilling question. Copy or original? Beyond all the changes to society and the economy, we hit that really uncomfortable question, the one at the heart of being reassembled, atom by atom. If the original you is destroyed when you're scanned, is the person who steps out of the teleporter at the other end really you? Or are they a perfect copy, a flawless duplicate with all your memories and thoughts, but a totally separate being that just thinks it's you? This is like that old philosophical puzzle, Theseus's ship, but for people. If every atom in your body is replaced, are you still you? Real-world quantum teleportation, the kind scientists are actually doing with tiny particles like photons, transfers the state of a particle, not the particle itself. And the original particle's state is destroyed in the process of measuring it. If this idea scales up to a human being, that's about 10 to the power of 28 atoms. Then every time you teleport, the original arrangement of atoms that is you stops existing. A new identical arrangement is built somewhere else. So it's not really transport, it's replication and destruction. Does your consciousness transfer? Or does your original awareness just end? And a new one, identical in every way, carrying all your memories, pops into existence, totally unaware that it's, in a way, brand new. Imagine stepping into the machine, expecting to pop out in Paris. But you don't. You just stop. A perfect copy of you arrives in Paris, thinking they just had an amazing instant trip, carrying all your memories, your hopes, your love for your family. But the you that went into the machine is, well, dead. This is where it gets really deep and philosophical. What even is identity? Is it this unbroken stream of awareness we feel? If so, teleportation as we've described it smashes that continuity. Or is identity just the sum of our physical bits and our recorded memories? If I have your atoms, your memories, your personality, am I you? Even if the original you was disintegrated? Many people would say the replica is just that, a copy. No matter how perfect, it's not the original. The original has effectively been killed, and a doppelganger has taken its place. How would society even deal with this? Would we see continuity of consciousness activists? Would religions have to rethink the soul, or how it passes on? The legal mess would be incredible. If you teleport, do you legally die? If so, does your copy get your house, your spouse, your debts? Is the copy responsible for crimes the original you committed? The very meaning of life, death, and who you are would be thrown into total chaos. This chilling question, are you still you, would jump from a philosopher's notebook into a terrifying everyday problem. Section 4. Echoes in the machine, psychological and social cracks. Think about the psychological burden on people having to face this every single day. Imagine that gnawing fear each time you walk up to a teleporter. Am I about to end my own existence just to save some travel time? Will I actually see my kids tonight, or will it be a copy who tucks them in? A copy who shares my memories but isn't the me who's feeling this terror right now? This constant background dread could lead to huge anxiety problems, depression, and even a new phobia. Telephobia. The fear of teleporting, not because it might break, but because it works exactly as it's supposed to. Trust in society could break down. How could you ever be sure the person who teleported back to you is the same one who left? Even if they look, act, and remember everything perfectly. Just knowing their original self was wiped out could create this weird, unsettling feeling in relationships. Little doubts, unspoken worries. Is this really my partner, my parent, my friend, or just a very convincing echo? It could breed a deep kind of paranoia, and make people feel very alone. And then there's how it could be misused, way beyond just everyday crime. Imagine a dictatorship controlling teleportation. They could create an army of loyal copies, or subtly mess with the data stream during reassembly, tweaking personalities, erasing memories, or even implanting new ones. Dissidents could be teleported, only to be replaced by versions of fishy eyes, their original selves quietly gotten rid of. The potential for psychological warfare and control would be like nothing we've ever seen. What if the tech isn't always perfect? We're talking about rebuilding 10 to the 28th power atoms. Even a tiny error rate in sending the data or reassembling could lead to horrifying results. A misplaced atom, a tiny change in a neural pathway. Would the person coming out be a little different? Or a total disaster? The fear of misprints or corrupted data could make even more people shy away from using it, no matter how convenient it is. Plus, there's something in quantum mechanics called the no-cloning theorem, which basically says you can't make a perfect identical copy of an unknown quantum state. While our make-believe teleporter somehow does this, the sheer philosophical weight of creating copies while destroying originals would trigger massive ethical debates. Is it okay to create a thinking, feeling being that's a copy, while snuffing out the original? What rights does this new consciousness have? Is it a continuation, or a new life stuck with someone else's memories? These aren't just shower thoughts. They would define what it means to be human in a teleportation age. We could see huge splits in society, maybe even Luddite-style movements fiercely fighting the technology, and a serious rethink of what it even means to be human and alive. That dream of instant travel could easily sour into a recurring nightmare. It's a world of incredible possibilities and some seriously terrifying questions. What do you think? Would you step into that teleporter? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you find these kinds of what-if explorations fascinating, make sure to like this and subscribe for more journeys into the ideas that could shape our future. Conclusion: the unanswered riddle. If human teleportation suddenly became real tomorrow, it would absolutely be the biggest technological jump in human history, making the wheel, the printing press, or even the internet look like small steps. It would, in a way, give us the stars by shrinking the world down to a single, easy-to-reach point. Industries would be reborn, societies would reorganize, and our daily lives would become convenient in ways we can barely imagine. Yet under this shiny surface of progress lurks that unavoidable, deeply unsettling question of who we are. If the machine works by taking us apart and putting us back together, are we just data streams, patterns to be copied and pasted across space, with each paste an unknowing fake? The Star Trek dream slams into the chilling thought that the person who arrives might not be the person who left, but a perfect replica stepping into a life that wasn't originally theirs. Real-world quantum teleportation, the actual science, is about information, the quantum states of tiny particles, not physically moving matter from one place to another. Trying to scale this up to a human being is a leap across a mind-bogglingly huge gap, with massive theoretical and practical roadblocks, like how much information is even in a human body, and that pesky no-cloning theorem. But if we did somehow jump those hurdles, if human teleportation was real tomorrow, we'd be forced to look square in the face at what it means to be us. Would the convenience be worth the existential price? Would humanity grab this almost godlike power, or would we shrink back from what it implies? The question of what it means to be reassembled atom by atom somewhere else is more than a science puzzle. It's a philosophical crisis, a riddle about identity and continuity that tech alone can't solve. It leaves us staring into the void, wondering if the reflection looking back is really our own. The future, in this scenario, isn't just about where we can go, but who, or what, we become by going there.